First contact and first impressions. The delegation room hummed with nervous anticipation as Gimpo stood at the threshold. He was elated, having passed all the rigorous tests to become part of the delegation to meet the first alien race his people had ever encountered. Generations had passed since the initial contact, and negotiations had dragged on for years. Gimpo's greatest wish was to finally close the negotiations that his forefathers had started. Entering the room where the meeting was to take place, Gimpo pressed the keypad by the door to announce his arrival. "I remember when we had to knock," an older member of the delegation grumbled. First contact and the initial stages of discussions had been conducted planetside. This was the first meeting to be held on a human ship, retrofitted to accommodate their alien visitors. Bridging cultures and understanding. The initial shock of the humans' longevity began to fade, replaced by a sense of awe and curiosity. Gimpo and his fellow delegates were eager to learn more about these long-lived beings. As the humans' technology had been a marvel to reverse engineer, their biology and culture now presented a new frontier of understanding. The human diplomat, who introduced himself as Alex, began to explain more about human society. Our long lifespans have shaped our culture in many ways. We have a deep respect for history and tradition, but we are also driven by a relentless curiosity and desire to innovate. Gimpo nodded, fascinated. Our race values age and wisdom above all else. The older one is, the more respect and authority they command. Alex smiled. We have similar values, though our longer lifespans mean we often have to balance respect for the old with the energy and fresh perspectives of the young. The delegates were struck silent as a human stood to greet them. They had only seen holo images of the race identified as humans. The human, standing twice their height, dwarfed the delegates. "Welcome, delegates," the human said, his voice deep and resonant. Gimpo's group was taken aback by the human's size. They had assumed the race they were meeting was similar in height. "I hope we can finish these negotiations today," the human continued, "as it has been a while since we started, and our people are eager to begin trade." "Yes," the old member of Gimpo's group barked. "We would have finished these discussions years ago had you not delayed so much." "I apologize for the delays. It took us some time to retrofit parts of the ship to suit your people better. I was just a newborn when you landed, and now I finally see my race upon the greatest stage of the universe." The human flicked his finger on a data slate, causing a buzz on the delegates' devices. "We have prepared all the documents you requested." Gimpo grinned as he reviewed the document but paused at some unfamiliar numbers. "Apologies, human, but what are these numbers here?" "Oh, those are the dates," the human replied. The old delegate barked. "The progression seems off. Do you measure time differently from us?" "It's likely, as we are from different worlds," the human explained. After marking the document with a digital stamp, the human proceeded to a wall-mounted device. Machines began bringing out plates of cuisine from their homeworld. As the delegates helped themselves, Gimpo gazed out the window at the crimson orb that was his homeworld. "A beautiful view, isn't it?" the human diplomat said, standing beside Gimpo. "Yes, it's amazing. I remember when we first arrived here, seeing the cities light up the world at night," Gimpo replied. "Oh no, I was part of the crew when we first surveyed this world, but that was nearly 100 years ago," the human said. Gimpo's outburst paused the celebrations. "I must apologize for my outburst," he said, realizing the humans had a different word for their unit of time. "No need," the human said. "Our AI is still deciphering your term PL. Ah, I see now. A PL is what you call a month." Gimpo's heart raced as he did the math. "So, you are 361 PLs old." The entire party of diplomats froze in shock. 30 years by our measure," the human said with a smile. "I turned 30 last month." Gimpo realized that humans aged much slower than his race. The diplomats were stunned by the implications. "You mean this youngster is actually older than I am?" the old member of the group asked, trembling. "Well, when you put it like that, I guess so. How old are you, Gimpo?" I would be roughly 2 of your human years, Gimpo replied. Wow, no wonder your race kept changing diplomats, the human said, chuckling. We kept thinking we were doing something wrong, but to think your race ages at this rate is fascinating. So, you must be old then, Gimpo asked. Oh no, I still have my grandparents. Grandma is more machine than human these days, but she celebrated her 90th birthday last year. Gimpo marveled at the idea of a being living for over 1,000 PLs. I guess we are your equivalent of elves, the human said with a grin. Elves? Gimpo echoed. Yeah, back on our world, we have stories about beings called elves who look just like us, but have pointed ears and live for centuries. The discussions flowed smoothly, with the humans and aliens finding common ground and learning from each other's perspectives. The human ship was equipped with an array of advanced technology, some of which they were willing to share. In return, Gimpo's race offered insights into their unique biological adaptations and social structures. As the day progressed, the delegates found themselves growing more comfortable with their towering hosts. The humans' hospitality was genuine, and their interest in the delegates' culture was sincere. The celebration. With the negotiations nearing a successful conclusion, the humans invited the delegates to a grand celebration. The event was held in a vast hall, decorated with a blend of human and alien aesthetics. Tables were laden with food from both worlds, and the air was filled with the sounds of music from each culture. Gimpo was struck by the diversity of the humans. They came in all shapes, sizes, and colors, and their clothing ranged from formal suits to traditional attire from various parts of their homeworld. It was a vibrant display of unity in diversity. As the evening wore on, Gimpo found himself deep in conversation with a human scientist named Dr. Emily. She was fascinated by his race's rapid development and aging process. Your people must experience life at such a different pace. It's incredible to think about how quickly you must learn and adapt. Gimpo nodded. Yes, we are taught from a young age to value every moment and make the most of our short lives. It drives us to achieve as much as we can, as quickly as we can. Dr. Emily smiled. That's a beautiful way to live. We humans could learn a lot from that perspective. The night continued with laughter, dancing, and the sharing of stories. It was a night that would go down in history as a turning point in interspecies relations. A new beginning. The following day, the final agreements were signed, marking the beginning of a new era of cooperation and understanding between the two races. Gimpo and his fellow delegates prepared to return to their homeworld, their minds buzzing with new knowledge and ideas. As they boarded their ship, Gimpo felt a sense of accomplishment and hope. The future seemed brighter than ever, with endless possibilities for collaboration and mutual growth. Alex, the human diplomat, shook Gimpo's hand warmly. This is just the beginning. I look forward to many more years of friendship and partnership. Gimpo nodded. As do I, Alex, as do I. The ship's engines hummed to life, and the delegates watched as the human ship grew smaller in the distance. They carried with them not just the agreements and documents, but a newfound respect and admiration for their human counterparts. The journey home was filled with discussions about the future and how to implement the new technologies and ideas they had encountered. Gimpo knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but he was confident that they were ready to face it together. Implementing change. Back on their homeworld, Gimpo and the other delegates faced the task of implementing the agreements they had reached with the humans. It was a daunting task, but one that they approached with determination and enthusiasm. The first step was to share the knowledge and technology they had acquired. Public announcements were made, and educational programs were set up to teach their people about the humans and the benefits of the new alliance. Gimpo took on a leadership role, overseeing the integration of human technology into their society. It was a complex process, requiring careful planning and coordination. But with each passing day, progress was made, and the benefits of the new technology became evident. New infrastructure projects were launched, improving transportation, communication, and healthcare. The quality of life for Gimpo's people began to improve, and the future looked brighter than ever. Cultural exchange. As the practical benefits of the alliance became clear, there was also a growing interest in human culture. Exchanges were organized, with groups of humans visiting Gimpo's world and vice versa. These exchanges were an opportunity to learn from each other, share traditions, and build deeper connections. Gimpo himself traveled to Earth, where he was welcomed with open arms. He marveled at the beauty and diversity of the human homeworld, and he was inspired by their achievements. During his visit, Gimpo attended a conference on interspecies cooperation. He gave a speech about the importance of mutual respect and understanding, and he shared his vision for a future where different races could work together in harmony. The conference was a success, and Gimpo returned home with new ideas and a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that the work they were doing was important, not just for his own people, but for the future of both races.